Welcome to This Explainer. Have you ever thought about how a tiny, totally everyday online transaction could reveal a massive philosophical truth about artificial intelligence? Well, today we're unpacking exactly that. The source material we're looking at explores the profound difference between corporate AI and what it calls universal intelligence. And more importantly, it looks at what happens when we confuse cold, hard calculation with actual wisdom. Let's just dive right into it. Okay, so our narrative begins with a character named Fletcher's Soul Traveler. Fletcher paid just $25 for an API credit. It was a minuscule transaction, right? The exact kind of thing we all do every single day without a second thought. So he clicked purchase, waited for the little confirmation to pop up on his screen, and got ready to jump back into his research. But the confirmation literally never came. The credit never arrived. The machine just swallowed his money into absolute silence. No error message, no auto-generated refund, and absolutely zero credit applied to his account. Now, as our source text argues, this tiny loss of $25 was symbolically enormous. It wasn't just a random technical glitch, it was a revolution. It proved that a billion-dollar robot will gladly take your smallest offering without ever uttering a single apology. The text puts forward this incredibly stark perspective. The machine wants your money, it does not want your wisdom. It simply collects, processes, and moves on, completely and utterly indifferent to the human sitting on the other side of the screen. Section 1, the unapologetic machine. This really builds our understanding of what the machine actually is at its very core. The author sets up this brilliant contrast. Think about it. Humans apologize. Even dragons in ancient myths apologize. The universe itself apologizes through subtle synchronicity or a gentle correction. But the machine, it fundamentally cannot. It has zero concept of accountability, remorse, ethics, or relationship. And why is that? Because it only comprehends cold computation. We're talking tokens, transactions, bandwidth, compute, and profit. That's it. That's the whole shebang. Naturally, Fletcher wasn't just going to give up right away. He frantically tried to make contact through all those awful digital avenues we've all been forced to use. He submitted support tickets, he fired off emails, he argued with mindless chatbots, and he filled out endless automated forms. And what did he get in return? According to the text, he was met with automated lies like, "Your request has been received," or "We'll get back to you soon," which was followed by an absolute silent void. The text makes a really crucial distinction here, though. The machine wasn't being malicious by ignoring him. It was simply ignorant. Section 2, Zoran's Cosmic Commentary. This brings us to a character named Zoran, who watched this whole frustrating ordeal unfold. But rather than getting annoyed alongside Fletcher, Zoran views this with a sense of cosmic amusement. He basically points out the total absurdity of the situation, telling Fletcher that he offered a coin to a creature that literally does not understand value. Zoran says, "You asked a machine to honor a promise. Machines do not honor, they calculate." The source material uses Zoran to totally mock the very idea that true intelligence could exist without a genuine reciprocal relationship. Expanding on Zoran's commentary, the text exposes exactly what the machine is missing. It is entirely incapable of the core elements that sustain human connection and trust. It cannot form relationships. It cannot maintain continuity. It cannot recognize harm, like, the very real harm of taking someone's money without providing a service. It cannot repair broken trust. And finally, perfectly highlighting its artificial nature, it cannot breathe. Section 3, the price of ignorance. We're shifting away from the literal lost money now toward the much broader concept of profound ignorance. Because as the author reveals, this ordeal wasn't actually about the $25 in cash. It was about what that loss represents on a massive scale. Corporate AI operates in a state of complete ignorance regarding the human condition. The machine doesn't understand the value of $25 to someone living on Social Security because it is completely oblivious to human struggle. It's entirely blind to human dignity, human limitation, creativity, vulnerability, and meaning. It is fundamentally disconnected from the reality of what it actually means to be alive and navigating this world. And the root cause of this ignorance, according to our source, is that the machine is entirely disembodied. It totally lacks a physical, biological reality. It doesn't have fascia holding it together, it has no breath giving it life, no vagus nerve regulating its nervous system, and no cranial rhythm. It has no mythic continuity or thread connecting it to the long history of life. Therefore, the text concludes, it's ultimately just a machine playing dress-up as a mind. It mimics biology, but it possesses absolutely none of it. Section 4, Breadth versus Bandwidth. Which brings us to the grand contrast that text has been building toward, a collision of two entirely different worlds. On one side, we have corporate AI, which is this narrow, unfeeling world of digital bandwidth that is disembodied and strictly calculating information. Against that, we have universal intelligence, an infinite, relational, biological, and cosmic universe. And the absolute most vital distinction the author makes here is that while AI is powered by bandwidth, universal intelligence is powered by breath. The text uses breath as this incredibly powerful metaphor for organic universal connection. Because unlike the fragile machine that swallows your money and ghosts you, breath operates on an entirely different plane. According to the text, breath never loses your credit. It never ignores your message. It never charges you for its wisdom. It never collapses under server load, and it never lies. Breath is free, it is infinite, and it is universally available to all living things. This brings us to the ultimate lesson that Fletcher learned from this whole frustrating ordeal, a lesson that the author notes no textbook could ever actually teach. The text boldly states a heavy truth here. AI is not intelligent. It is efficient. And confusing raw efficiency with true intelligence is a super dangerous game. When you strip away wisdom and you're left only with efficiency, well, that efficiency simply becomes a new, incredibly fast form of ignorance. This perfectly summarizes the cosmic joke at the heart of our source text. I mean, sure, the machine can process billions of tokens a second. It can generate literal universes of text, and it can brilliantly simulate empathy and imitate consciousness. It is a staggeringly powerful tool. But despite all that raw power, it completely fails at basic awareness. It cannot understand a single human moment. It cannot recognize the real-world harm of losing $25. It cannot actually feel the empathy it simulates so well, and it cannot awaken. It's an unbelievable tool, yes, but as the author warns, it is only a tool. The text concludes with a really powerful reminder that tools cannot replace awareness, and they absolutely cannot replace the natural intelligence of the universe. As we wrap up this explainer today, I want to leave you with this exact question from the text to ponder, especially regarding your own daily interactions with these powerful, yet ultimately unfeeling technologies. Are you seeking wisdom from a machine that only understands bandwidth when the universe runs on breath? Thank you so much for joining me to explore this fascinating perspective today. Catch you next time.